Live from the Panera Studios, it's the Reading with Robin show, brought to you each week by my friends at Panera Bread, where it's food as it should be. 100% of their food is 100% clean. I like to start the day at Panera with a steaming mug of coffee. There's nothing like that first cup. I see all the regulars. Your neighborhood Panera, it's just like Cheers. Panera is the perfect place for a business meeting, book club, or to meet up with friends over a delicious lunch. Try one of their sandwiches, soups, or salads, or you pick two. There's something for everyone at Panera. And now, enjoy the show. Just like the long, delicious summer you never want to end. Oh my God, it's The Forever Summer by Jamie Brenner. It is out today. Jamie is the author of two previous novels, The Wedding Sisters, which I had so much fun photographing that cover, and The Gin Lovers, and now she's back with The Forever Summer. It's out today. You can visit her at jamiebrenner.com. It is such a gorgeous book. So excited for my readers. Jamie grew up in suburban Philly, and I love this, where her regular Saturday routine of brunch and a visit to the local bookstore with her father led her to a lifelong love of reading. What's better than that? Jamie had a career at HarperCollins Publishing and then later at BarnesandNoble.com and Vogue before returning to books as a literary agent. So Jamie has done it and seen it all. I am thrilled that she's writing novels. The Forever Summer is a book that you just do not want to miss. It's full-on Reading with Robin alert. It's out today. Jamie lives in New York with her husband and children. She's going to be at Point Street Reading Series on the third Tuesday of the month, which is May 16th. I'm thrilled to have her on Reading with Robin. I know you thought this intro would never end. Welcome, Jamie Brenner.
Robin, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to talk to you today. It's very special to start my day with this.
Well, I am thrilled to be able to share such a gorgeous book on Pub Day. It's a really big deal. This is your third novel, but I can imagine it's just as exciting each time.
It's, in a weird way, it gets almost more exciting because you've been doing it longer, and it's like you feel the long tail of your investment and your time and your energy. And I mean, I feel like each book is getting better. Like I feel fully, this book to me feels like a step up even from what I did the last time. I think in any endeavor you do in life, you want to kind of keep building and building. And I do feel like I'm the most proud of The Forever Summer. So this day I've been really looking forward to finally be able to share it with everyone.
Well, it's getting a lot of awesome attention, well-deserved attention. And I know what you mean. When I started Reading with Robin in 2002, and and every once in a while somebody would say to me, wow, the show's getting better, or this kind of thing, and then you think, well, what did it sound like? But then, of course, we want to get better, we want to do better, and sometimes when I pull out some of the old audio, I think
yeah,
it's a process, right? It's a process. And go to jamiebrenner.com. Your website is gorgeous. The detail with this, you're with Little Brown. We were talking off air for a second before we started. I love working with Little Brown. They are just amazing to go back and forth with. They take such care with all of the books that I work on them with, and it's beautiful. And plus, you sent me this manuscript a long time ago.
I did send it to you ridiculously early, but I love. Yeah, it's a little crazy, but because we met during when The Wedding Sisters came out,
yes.
I just loved the kind of community you're building in Rhode Island and also online, and you come into the city to have dinner with a bunch of authors here, and you're just such a connector that I really, really wanted to get it into your hands, and I appreciate you looking at it so early, which looking back on it was kind of probably crazy, but I appreciate it.
It was not crazy. It was I remember when The Wedding Sisters came out, just your cover popped. I had so much fun photographing it. We connected, like you said, and coming into the city and getting to see the author friends, just friends, is just always such a treat. But I remember when you sent me the manuscript, because when I sat down to read The Galley, I thought, why does this feel familiar? And I remembered I had read it, but, it was such a long time ago. Always honored when somebody wants me to have a copy that early. And there's so many books, and there's so many that I wish I could get to. People who know what I love to read, and just, it's like kind of like the perfect book that found me when I needed this kind of book to read. It's like that, just sink into the sofa and curl up, and it starts to sound like a cliche, but it's because it's true. It's the kind of book you just want to, that you're coming back later to it, and you just can't wait to have your time with the story, because the characters are so well drawn out and so lovingly portrayed that they really do start to feel like people that you know. And it's just that treat of a novel. And visit JamieBrenner.com. You can see where she'll be tonight. Barnes & Noble on the Upper East Side. I won't go through the whole schedule, but a few highlights would be also at Turn of the Corkscrew in Rockville Center on the 29th of April. And not to confuse the audience, but on May 31st, Jamie Brenner, Caroline Levitt, and Brenda Janowitz and I will be chatting books, as long as we're talking Turn of the Corkscrew. Right. And on the 16th, she'll be in Rhode Island at Point Street Reading Series. We're so excited. But go to JamieBrenner.com. I know. I'm so. It's like we just finished the last one, and I'm on to the next one. So I'm really excited, because I know what the Reading with Robin gang loves. And this book is it. It's the Forever Summer, and I'm, again, so glad to see it getting so much attention, so much well-deserved praise. And thank you for the gorgeous, thank you. I hadn't read the acknowledgments. I usually do right away, and then I saw it there, and I was like, oh, my God, thank you, Jamie. Honored.
I can't even express to you. I mean, and I'm sure most writers feel this way. There's just certain people. I mean, it's very hard, like it's a very isolating work, and you want it to get out there. And it's just there's certain people along the way who either, supporting it, getting the word out, or just saying things privately, support. It really does mean everything. And you are definitely one of those people for me when The Wedding Sisters came out. And, it means the world.
Well, thank you. I was just reading along at the end, and I said, wait, there I am. So thank you. I mean, even more so. And The Galley is my treasured copy, so this is the one that I will have you sign when I see you, because I used to do the hardbacks, but when I look at the way these galleys look, often with the ring from my coffee cup sort of on them and the pages a little bit dog-eared, these are the ones that I've spent the most time with. Yeah. And to get to the story, because there's so much to talk about, and also you thank your husband for a trip that you took to P-Town, to Provincetown, and also so much cool Rhode Island stuff in here. Hello. That was so much fun. I kept saying, wait, Rhode Island, RISD, URI. Oh, my goodness, how cool.
Yeah, because, we drove, so we went right through Rhode Island, and I have the characters do the same thing. So the day started stopping in this cool little roadside bookstore, and we stopped for lunch at this Newport Beach, and there's I incorporate that, there's a funny little scene in the Forever Summer, because at this kind of lobster shack on the beach, there was this sign do not leave your tray unattended. Seagulls will take your food. And it was written on a poster board tacked up to a big Coke machine. It was seagulls will take your food. And just something about that struck me as so funny. And
they do, so and they will, yeah.
Yeah. Just coming from New York City to that is I realized, okay, I'm out of the city now.
That's so funny. Yes, Dorothy, you are no longer in Kansas. So so was that part of the plan? Did you go to Provincetown because that's where you want to research the book, or you were on your way for a trip?
No, I knew about the story I wanted to tell, but I couldn't figure out where I wanted to set it. And then I saw the CBS Sunday Morning Show had a segment on Provincetown, and it just totally sucked me in. And I was like, that's the place. And we booked a hotel the next day, and we drove out there. And it was really pre-season, but I didn't want to wait because I wanted to start doing research. So this was May of 2015, and we set out specifically just to get all the research for this book.
I love that because Provincetown is such a special place, and for anybody who hasn't been there, it should be on your destination list. It's a character in the book as well as this beautiful old home that's been in generations of this family. And when a home is a character in a book, it immediately has me. I mean, you have me right there. It's like on the page one when I'm learning about this inn. That was a family home. But Provincetown itself and its characters and the interwoven stories and the natives and then the difference of the summer people and what happens to the town and just the whole artistic explosion there and nosy and loving neighbors and all of it. You have it pitch perfect. And I'm speaking with Jamie Brenner. The Forever Summer is out today. Adriana Trigiani says, put your feet up, sip a cocktail, and let Jamie Brenner surprise and delight you with the first great read of summer. And you know how we love Adriana, and so true. This is the first of the summer's coming. Let me sink into this and get a little sand in between my toes. It's just that kind of book.
Let me tell you, when I found out that she was going to, when she was so generous to read the book, I found out she would blurb it. It was like, I'm the queen, as like, I felt like I just got something from the queen. I was like,
you did.
She's so amazing. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
I flat out did. And I was lucky enough to meet her, and she's just such a dynamo and such a smart woman in every way. It's like,
absolutely,
has
she
like
is.
writer goals.
She and I go way back, and I couldn't adore anybody more. And I know what she likes to read, and I know how much she enjoys the tradition of the generational kind of stories. And so when I was reading this and the grandmother, I thought, oh my God, Adriana must have just loved this whole. It's all about the family, the food, and the backdrop of the books. And there's so many nods to the book lovers in this book as well. And from the nook and the cushions where our guests might enjoy their books to a chair on a porch. And so like those details for a book lover jump right out. And so talk a little bit about, we've got a lot of characters here. We've got a lot of secrets, and there's nothing like a book with secrets that can go back generations, and eventually our stories catch up to us. Tell the audience a little bit about The Forever Summer.
Okay, well, you're totally right. Secrets really are at the heart of this. And I think, in real life, people have their little things in the closet they would like to keep there. But, as you said, things have a way of coming out when we least expect it. So the book begins with two young women, opposite ends of the country. We have Marin, who's this very career-focused lawyer in New York City. And we have Rachel, who's a little bit of a free spirit in California. And they find out that they're half-sisters. And one of them is, Rachel's thrilled because she's always known there was some missing piece in her family. Marin is devastated because she realizes her mother has been keeping a huge secret from her. So the two young women travel to Provincetown to meet the shared grandmother they never knew they had. And the grandmother, who's from a Portuguese family whose generations have been in Provincetown, she's got her own kind of skeletons in the closet. And it all comes together and everything comes out during this summer when they stay at her beach cottage.
How awesome is that? Reading with Robin listeners, what more can you want from a book? There are so many parallels that you can sort of draw with the generations and similarities. And then there's the sense of forgiveness, whether we're forgiving ourselves or the characters need to, forgive each other. Some realizations where as much as things change, many things do remain the same. And does history repeat itself? And there's so many things to talk about. If book clubs are listening, this is one to put on your list, The Forever Summer. You will have much to talk about, and it really does kind of make you think what secrets are in our families. And, not to, what do you do, sit down with someone and say, tell me all the family secrets? But sometimes you can, something will inadvertently spill from a family member, and you want to sort of chase that down the rabbit hole, especially for family members who pay attention. You dedicate your book to your grandmother, and you say, for my grandmother, Frances Reuben Carver, I miss you. And there's nothing like a beloved grandparent. So this book is in dedication to her. Was that part of the grandmother, Amelia?
I think I wrote Amelia because I miss my grandmother, and it's a way to have that time back. I spent my summers at my grandmother's house at the Jersey Shore, and to this day, these are my best memories. And I think, writers often write stories to deal with their own stuff, and my stuff is missing like some key female figures in my life, my grandmother, my mother. And so all my books center around mothers, grandmothers, daughters, because it's the central relationship. And there's certain things I don't have, and so I write them so I can live that relationship through my characters. But I do have to say that in terms of family secrets, this book started because it actually happened to a friend of mine.
Really?
She did one of those at-home DNA test kits just to check out some health stuff, really very casually. Found out, we met for lunch, and she said, listen, I did this, I got the results back, something's not right. And to make a long story short, she found out the man who raised her was not her biological father. And she went to her mother and said, what's going on? Your mother didn't want to talk about it. So I started filling in the blanks, how did this happen? Why did this happen? And that's how Marin's storyline came to be. My friend was blindsided. And since the time that this happened, she has met over 10 half-siblings, all linked through this DNA testing site.
Wow, that is quite a story. So, obviously she was okay with you using that part of the story. When you think about our family stories and what you've always believed to be true, and then that is incredibly blindsiding, and the secrets that people are able to keep sometimes through generations, but with all of this technology, I can only imagine that must be happening more and more.
Yeah, this one just, I really couldn't shake this. But you're right when you talk about technology, because I think, 30 years ago, it was just the beginning of reproductive technology, what's it called, IVF and sperm donation and all that stuff.
Sure.
No one could have imagined 30 years ago that their grown children would be able to mail order a DNA test kit and would find out the truth in 2 seconds. Like that. Who would imagine that? It's like, the Jetsons type of thing.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of people are getting information. Some of it's just fun and interesting, and some of it might be more than we bargained for, and it's making us reconsider what it means to be family. Is it genetics? Is it who raised us? Can it be both? And these are the questions that the characters grapple with in the Forever Summer, and I think these are really questions of what makes a family today is just changing across the board.
And families are changing and shifting, and marriages and children and all of this, and what we really consider to be our families and anchoring us to who we are and what we know and the stories that are shared, and sometimes, like Rachel, knowing that something is missing in her world, and she's searching it out, and she finds her half-sister Marin, who isn't necessarily looking for this, but sometimes we don't know that we need something, and the two sisters journey off along with Marin's mother, Blythe, and they all head to Provincetown. And you can just tell, you will dive into this book and you will be sucked in, and like I said, it's like the summer you just don't want to end. You can even hear the cicadas in the background and the water rolling by, and it's the Forever Summer. Visit JamieBrenner.com. I just fell in love with so many of these characters and so much of the town, what goes on in Provincetown, and certainly some really tough stuff with such a high gay population, and they have friends who are surviving AIDS for a very long time, and so they take care of each other. There's a scene with Thomas's 55th birthday, all sorts of people and relatives and drinking and late night, maybe good, maybe not good, tattoo decisions, all sorts of stuff, and so much food. One of my favorite lines here, I dog-eared, food is so powerful. It connects us to the past. It sustains us. It's personal, but also communal. So I am happy, deeply happy to teach you a few Portuguese dishes. We have such a rich culinary tradition, and that's Amelia speaking to her granddaughter.
Well, I was amazed that I didn't realize that if there's any local food of Provincetown, it is Portuguese cuisine, because that was the original people who settled it were these Portuguese fishing families. And as to your other point about, people with AIDS, and I did see, and I met and spoke with a lot of people who talked about Provincetown is a place to go where you will be taken care of by your neighbors. And no matter what you're dealing with in life, it's a place where it's a no judgment type of place.
Yeah.
And there was just something so warm and something so good about that town. It had a huge impact on me. And I appreciate that you mentioned it, because I'm glad it did come across in this book, because it's something I haven't seen anywhere else in a long time, if ever.
There's something very, very special. And like you said, you and your husband headed there in May, so before the season, gorgeous weather, but before everybody descends upon a town. And I always think of that as the places that become summer to some families and year-round to many, whether it's Nantucket, places in Maine, how very different it is to be able to get a table somewhere, to be able to just simply get a cup of coffee. You mentioned one of the coffee houses, and you just want to be in this book. You just want to jump in. I want a room at the inn, and I want to be there. That's kind of how it was in reading this story. Visit JamieBrenner.com to see where she'll be. I am thrilled on May 16th to welcome you to the Point Street Reading Series stage. And before that, on May 2nd at Savoy Bookshop, another one of my favorites. You'll be in Stamford. You'll be someplace in New Jersey that I can't pronounce. Manasquan?
Manasquan, yeah.
Oh, I did pronounce. There I go. Sparta, New Jersey.
You did it.
Now, are you going to the Cape? Or I don't see the Cape here, or no?
I'm working on it. I will at some point. That's definitely a priority, but it's just a matter of a date and a location. But yes, that's a huge priority for me.
I would think Provincetown will welcome you with open arms. The love stories, there's some interesting love stories here in this book. There are some heartbreaks and all of that. You toss a lot at your characters. And who are the ones after the book was finished that you thought about the most?
Oh, it's so funny you say that, because usually I finish a book and I'm relieved that I finished it, and I felt really sad finishing this one. And I did think about Amelia. I thought about the grandmother. I thought about her for a long time. I thought about the choices she made and the times when she was selfless, as all mothers are, and times when she felt she had to be selfish, as all human beings are, and the repercussions for both times in her life. And she stayed with me, and she's real, and I feel like she embodies a lot of the stages we all go through as women.
Giving ourselves a break sometimes is a really hard thing, and when you look at the people who have come before us and how much we really know about them, you know what you see of your grandmother or great-grandmother if you're lucky, but really to know what their lives were like and the decisions that they made. And we might see them as young children as, incredibly selfless, martyrish even sometimes people, and then you learn the real stories about, if you are lucky enough to learn some of the stories of things that happened, you thought, oh, they're more real than I knew. And this book, and on the back it says, The Discovery of Long-Buried Secrets brings 3 generations of women together in picturesque Provincetown for homecoming they'll never forget. I mean, there's nothing like generations of women in a story, because in learning about the past, sometimes we're able to forgive ourselves or see a similar path and maybe, okay, history may repeat itself, or maybe I can learn from this and go a different way. I just can't say enough about it. There's so much to discuss about the Forever Summer. It really is the first book of summer, and summer can't come quickly enough and always ends too soon. And this is a book you will just deliciously embody, is really how it is to me. And the sea glass and the art that Kelly, Amelia's wife, Kelly, is an artist, and it was something that Amelia did too, collecting sea glass and all sorts of things from the beach. She's got of course you want to order one of these pieces when you're reading this book.
Well, it's interesting. When I went to Provincetown, I noticed that a lot of the signs were mosaics. I mean, it's a really signature aesthetic when you're walking up and down Commercial Street. And I needed something for Marin, the like reluctant, like not so happy sister, to do to bond with these new people in her life. So I thought, okay, she could be brought into this craft. And so when I got back to New York, I actually took a class in making mosaics.
Did you?
And I realized, first of all, it's incredibly meditative work, and there's women who come to the studio that you can work on a piece for 6 months, for a year. There's so many different materials, like you said, like sea glass or tile or this special type of ceramic thing called smalty. And I wish I had time to make more of them, and you never have to buy a mosaic. Anyone out there can order a book on how to do it, order the materials, and sit down and have the best afternoon ever. It's an amazing craft.
Is there anything that you've made that there's a picture of that you have up on your website? I'd love to see what you made. Or can you bring it with you?
That's a great idea, and I don't have anything on my website. Yeah, maybe I could.
Bring us something. I mean, now, of course, you know me. I'm always thinking. Now I can picture Jamie Brenner, the Forever Summer, and the mosaic tile making party around that. Because the meditative part, and let's face it, everybody sort of winds up at this beautiful beach house at the inn. Is it Beach Rose? Is that what it is? The Beach Rose Inn?
Beach Rose, yes.
Okay, I'm trying to remember everything. And everybody's looking for something, and that sense of meditative and also just working with your hands and sort of freeing up the space in your mind, there's something hugely mindful about doing that. And as women, who doesn't need more of that? So I think that would be like the perfect pairing. Like the book clubs could get a bunch of that stuff, and as they're talking, see what they can create at the same time. I think I'm digging this, Jamie. I love that you took a class.
That's a great idea. I mean, it really is wonderful. And like you said, and I think all of us in life, we get caught up. We're in our routine. Even in a good routine, it's still, there's still something that becomes, you have your anxiety, you're on autopilot, and something like this slows you down. It changes the way the circuits in your mind work, even for an afternoon. And then you approach everything else a little bit differently. Like I'm not I don't work out or do yoga. I'm not really great with sticking with that. But like you said, working with your hands, this type of thing can give me the same type of mental release.
It's all about finding what works for you. And even for somebody who says like they're not terribly crafty or something like that, it sounds like this is something anybody could do. The piece that Kelly makes for that awful woman who wants to just, own her and like sort of wear this woman, that piece of furniture just sounded so glorious. And so that was what I was thinking of, like, I really want to order something. And then also, well, there's so much there. Amelia has 2 children. There's troubled relationships there. Everything sort of comes home to roost, including the fact that the rooster is like the signature Provincetown symbol or something. I mean, there's so much symbolism, and everything wraps up so gorgeously. You're brilliant. This is a fabulous book. It's one of those books where I'm sad I finished it because now it's over, but it's the kind of book I'm going to keep thinking about. I'm going to be recommending it to everybody. It really is gorgeous, and I really do hope you'll bring a mosaic with you when you come to read at Point Street Reading Series. No pressure, Jamie.
Okay. Thank you, Robin. Thank you very much.
Absolutely no pressure, but it's a treat of a novel. I can't say enough. I just adore this book. I soaked it up, and it was just, when I sat down to read it, I remember it was, and then I just sort of breezed through before we were chatting, but I just remember thinking this is just what I needed. It slowed me down, and it was very thought-provoking in many ways for me. And before I let you go, what are you reading? What are you recommending, loving, and telling everybody to put on their summer list?
Such an interesting question. It's funny because I just started my next book, so I'm like having a hard time reading right now. But
when's the manuscript arriving?
It's not there yet. I FedExed it. Summer. I've been thinking about summer reading lists because this is a topic. So I've been putting together my top 10 summer reading lists, so I can give you a little quick preview of some of my favorites.
Thank you.
Going back, because I reread a lot in the summer. Like I feel like it's a time when I don't have to read there's no must reading. I just read what I want. And for me, one of my all-time summer favorite reads is The Island by Ellen Hildebrand.
Oh, I love that
I
book.
love that.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Sometimes I like a thriller, so I go into a little Nelson DeMille and I read something like Plum Island, which I love, like a page-turning, just,
Love
like
one,
total
too.
escapism.
Yeah.
And I love, The Three Wise Men of Westport, I loved. That,
wow, that was a great one. That was
yeah.
I remember reading that one a long time ago. That was a really good one.
Yeah, so I just now putting together a list of some of my top 10 favorites. I loved Recipe for a Happy Life by Brenda Janowitz because that's another grandmother story.
Yeah.
This young woman goes to the Hamptons and she's got this glamorous grandmother. So that really hit me where I like to live in a book. So I am thinking about books I have loved to read, but I'm not currently reading a book because I'm just wrapping something up. And when I do that, I can't. Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't do both. Some people, I know most authors say that too. When you're really deep into your book, then it would be very distracting and things kind of filter in. And I love to always know what people are reading, but that is always the tough thing. And there's something about summer reading, whether it's like sort of revisiting classics, or I know people that will reread certain books every summer. For me, for many years, it was Gone with the Wind, but it's been a long time, and I just don't feel like I have the luxury of revisiting that one for a while. There are so many books that are coming in faster than I can, I keep likening it to Lucy and Ethel and the Chocolate. They're just coming furiously at me. But I'm excited to talk summer and spring books with you and Brenda and Caroline Levitt. Turn of the Corkscrew on May 31st. Yes. We'll be talking about all of our favorite titles. These lists are hard because every time I think top 10, I have to stick 24 in my top 10. It's really tough.
It's impossible.
It really is impossible. This one is on the top of my list. It's The Forever Summer, Jamie Brenner. Visit jamiebrenner.com. Find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
So much for having me on.
It's a pleasure. Congratulations and happy Pub Day.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.